Hello again there folks, Lone Adventurer here. Thank you very much for stumbling your way upon my channel and joining me for this adventure. Today I'm going to be playing through Quest 2 of Dieson Crusoe, a solo game that I picked up quite recently. If you want to see Quest 1, there'll be a link up in the corner of the screen right about now and in the description down below. I'd recommend that if this is a game you're interested in learning how to play. No promises in terms of messing up rules and forgetting rules, but I would imagine I will get into the game a bit more quickly in this video and I won't agonise over the different mechanics that are going on quite as much. If you enjoy this video and you want to see more adventures just like this one, do consider subscribing to my channel, hitting the bell notification icon so you know when new videos are released. And I release playthrough videos of solo games as frequently as I can. So if you like these sorts of games, do consider subscribing. Thank you. Okay, Dieson Crusoe, let's move the box aside and let's talk a little bit about quest number 2. Now, I've attempted quest number 2 a couple of times now. 2 times? 3 times? I've succeeded once. The most recent playthrough that I did. I just about managed it by the skin of my teeth, by doing everything I could to maximise the performance of my survivalist. I just about managed to get done the things I needed to do. And for Quest 2, what you need to do is move to the top of the mountain on the map. So you've got to trek all the way across the map, basically. You've got to make the flag, and you've got to do that all in 9 days. So that's what we're going to be trying to do today. And I've made a couple of adjustments to our setup here to hopefully make it a little bit easier. Like I said, I managed to complete the quest last time I played, but it was pretty tight and it would be nice to complete the quest on camera. So what I've done is I have brought along my friend Wednesday as our friend. Wednesday allows us to add additional stars when doing the whole action dice thing. So that might give us a little bit of a boost every now and then. And we're also playing as a different version of our survivalist character. In the last video we were playing as the hunter, and now we're playing as the pathfinder. And the pathfinder gains an extra star whenever they are doing the move action. So over here on the map, when we move from here to here, for example, we would need to have generated 1 star with our action roll, which is nice and easy. But then when you get over here, it's 2 stars. And then when you get over here and you start climbing the mountain, you have to be doing 3-star move actions. That reality, the fact that climbing up the mountain is more challenging, slowed me down quite a bit. And I think that's the reason why the last playthrough I did off camera was so tight. That's why it was so close to the wire. But I think the Pathfinder is going to help us with that. I don't think there's anything else to say, really. I've got my pile of item cards over here. In the setup instructions, it suggests that you lay them all out so you can see them all. I'm not so sure about that. I like my play area to be a little bit more tidy, so I'm going to be keeping them in a little stack here. But as soon as we are in a position to think about building something that might help us, I'll have a little flick through and we'll have a little chat about those items, because we were optionally restricted in the first playthrough to 3 or 4 items to keep things simple, but now the training wheels are off and we can use whichever items we want. So I guess it's time to make a start, really. We're going to roll the dice for our first day. We're going to have an event and then we'll get straight into our actions. Quite high numbers. So high numbers are good in terms of doing efficient actions, but they are not so good in terms of the future reality of weather and attacks? Is it attacks? Raids on our camp. We take the first dice, I believe, for the action, for the event rather. So our event's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to immediately lose 2 food. I think that might be what happened last time. So that's a pretty rough start. We are without food immediately. And we do ideally need to have something to eat at the end of this day. So a new focus there. And where can we get to on the action track? The 4 will get us to the wood. That would be handy. Always good to have some wood. And that would get us 2 wood because a 4 is a 2-star roll. 6 would get us to the building of the shelter, but we don't have any resources to build a shelter with yet. Oh, it sucks that we've lost that food. A 4 backwards, aha, because the grey dice allows you to move clockwise around the action track and anti-clockwise. The 4 grey could get us to the hunt, and maybe that would be a good idea. We can go hunting rabbits, so we'll go backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we need 2 power in order to hunt. Do we have 2 power? Oh, we do, don't we? I was just thinking, we had the automatic 1 power when we were the hunter, and we're no longer the hunter, so that is going to be an extra challenge. But rolling a 4 gives us 2 stars. 2 stars equals 2 power, which is enough to hunt anyway. So that gains us the 1 food that we need, and also gains us a hide that will come in handy, no doubt. So now we can go 4 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 would allow us to move, and 6 would allow us to get some stone. So let's just have a quick look at the flag, because we need to remember that at some point we've got to be building this. Doesn't need any stone, but does need wood and does need lots of hides. So we need to be hunting as we are moving to gather the hides, and we need to be acquiring wood however we do that as well. But that's not to say we don't necessarily need stone. We could build a stone knife. That looks like it gains you an additional hide when you're hunting. That could be handy. The bed we're definitely going to want to get at some point, but that doesn't need wood. Rope is very handy, no wood. Machete, I'm not sure I need a machete. Although I think that means it gains you a power, so it would have that benefit. You can have an additional friend. Basket, I'm not sure I need that. Fire, blueprint, not worrying about those ones. Axe could be handy, because not only does it give you the additional power, it gains you an additional food when you're hunting. An additional star when you land on the food action is my guess. We'll double check that, of course, if we choose to go down that route. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about the trap, not going to worry about the watchdog. Bow looks very ambitious. No raft, no fishing rod, no water skin, probably. Maybe a water skin, maybe I'll just move that up. I've sort of got the ones I'm less interested in at the back. My suspicion is these ones are more for the later quests, and some of them are specific quest items, like the raft. One of the quests is to build the raft. So, yeah, after all that, I'm not entirely sure I necessarily need stone straight away. Maybe we should just do a move. It's a good idea to get moving, I think. So we're going to move over here. When we move over here, we need 1 star, but 4 gets us 2 stars, so that's all good. And when we land on that space, we get a food automatically. And then we're left with a 6. And the 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that's going to land us on the build a roof thing. Now I'd love to build a roof, but we don't have any wood. Now we can spend 1 health to move this dice to either of the adjacent boxes. Thinking about doing stuff like that is pretty important, I think, in order to be successful in this game. And I think we're going to do it now. We're going to move back to the hunt box and we're going to do another hunt. 6 gives us 3 stars, which is comfortably enabling us to hunt our current quarry, which is going to gain us a food and a hide. And I think that's probably a good idea. Then we need to think about getting some wood and some stone somehow tomorrow in order to build some handy things. But that's the end of today. Don't know why I put the dice there. That should have been the meeple. There we go. That's the end of today. So we're going to move into the evening. We need to eat 1 food. So for the weather, nothing happens because it's a 1 for our first day. And for the raid, nothing happens because it's a 1 for our first day. So we're going to take those. Those are going to be our action dice in our next round, our next day. These move over, so we're going to have some rough weather and a rough raid tomorrow. And we're going to move on to day 2. Right, some lower numbers, that's probably good. Although lower numbers mean lower stars. Now I think I'm going to try and avoid moving today, if possible. Because if we move on, we're going to be going into the territory of the next animal. And that means the raid is worse. The raid has a worse effect. Right now, if we get raided, we just lose 1 food, which isn't the end of the world. But that 4 would allow us to move. If we move into the next area, the raid would also damage our shelter if we had built up fences around our shelter. But we haven't built up fences around our shelter yet. And I'm kind of curious what happens if you can't meet the raid penalty. Yeah, you lose additional food. So we would be losing additional food if we were to do that. Now 2 would get us to sleep. That would allow us to regain 1 health, which I guess is okay. Or we could just play with our friend Wednesday and move him on that tracker over there. We're not quite ready to craft an item yet, I don't think. So that would take us to 2. If we were there, 4 would take us to the stone and 2 over to the wood. I really want to build something today. And it's a shame it's not the bed. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to build anything today. Okay, it's quite tricky, so I'm just going to move there, but I'm not going to heal. I'm going to move Wednesday on 1 on his tracker. Remember, if I move him to there, I can use him at any point to gain 1 star during an action. If I move him up there, I can use him at any point to gain 2 stars during any action, which is going to be very handy. So I think it's worth pushing on with that. Now we can move to move, although, just thinking, if we move into the next area, we wouldn't have to lose fence, but we would have to lose 2 food. However, at the moment, we only have 2 food, and we would have eaten 1 of them at the start of the evening, and so we would only have 1 food to lose. I have to double check that sometimes, because instinctively I feel like you would lose health if you don't have food to lose. But that's not the case. If you don't have food to lose, you just don't lose the food. So maybe we could do that. We could move, get the moving out of the way. Is that a good idea? We definitely need to, if we move into the next area, we're going to need to boost our power up, because all of a sudden it's going to cost 3 power to hunt. But we'd get more stuff. This could be a bad idea. I'm going to risk it. So we're moving. We have moved onto a wood space. That is a bonus. So we're getting a wood. And then we could move there to gain some wood. Some more wood. That's a move of 4, which would gain us 2 wood. Or we could build a bed with the stuff we already have. Bed is, I would imagine, an essential build for any quest. Not only does it give you an extra star when you do the healing action, it also increases your maximum HP by 3. But it's difficult to turn down 2 wood, because then we would have enough wood to build a rope, or to contribute towards a machete, or a basket, or an axe. So I think maybe I'm just going to take the wood. Okay, on to the evening. We forgot to do an event, didn't we? Well, the event would have taken us to there, which is, what's that? Lose a roof and a fence. Remove 1 fence and 1 roof. But you don't lose anything else if you can't do that stuff. So that's fine, we'll move that now. We've got to consume a food. Then we have got some bad weather, or some middling weather. That means we lose a shelter roof. So if you have no roof, you lose 1 health. This is the only bit of the game that I find slightly less intuitive. Like when you lose health as a result of the absence of something, and when you don't lose health. Also, the raid is at 6, and on a 5 or a 6, the raid thing happens. We are no longer in that area. We've moved on to that area. So we would either lose a fence, which we don't have, or 2 food. We only have 1 food, so we're only going to lose 1 food. Then we need to move the dice. So those 3 become our dice for the following day. Those 3 become our dice to dictate what happens tomorrow evening. Moving on to day 3, and we got to increase the raid dice by 1 to 5. That's quite unfortunate, because that means we are going to get raided tomorrow as well. And day 3, time for day 3. Got a 1, a 2 and a 4 with our grey dice. I think we might do the 4 to get to food and get a couple of food. Is that a good idea? I'm just aware that from doing a hunt we can get food. Problem is we haven't got a hunt we can do right now. At least that uses our highest value dice, not in the 2 places that will affect us negatively. But instead of moving, we will build the bed. So the bed is going to cost us 1 wood and 1 hide. It increases our maximum HP, as I said, and it means we will more easily recover health when we land on that particular action. So that was with the 1, and then the final one is the 2. That's going to take us to there, and that will just gain us a single stone. Then in the evening, we need to consume a food. Nothing is going to happen as a result of negative weather. We are being raided. We have no fence, therefore we're losing food. And that's that. Gather up those dice, move those ones over. On to day 4, carry on. We totally forgot the event, didn't we? Too late now. Sorry about that. We won't forget the event this time, and we've got a 1, especially because it'll be... Is that beneficial to us? I'm not sure. We've got a 1, we've got a 2, and we've got a 3. Keeping it quite low. I mean, you do want some high dice occasionally. No, it's not a good thing. So the event is this one here, which is increase the weather die by 2. So that's going to increase that to 3, which means we are going to experience some negative weather effects. So we could build some fence, which would be valuable, if not actually important. But really, we need to be increasing... Maybe I shouldn't have built the bed. Maybe I should have built something that can increase our power. Well, if I had 1 more stone, we could build a machete. And I could use the 1, because how the grey die allows you to go backwards around the action track, so does a number 1. So we could move back to there, and this is actually what we're going to do. And then we will gain... Oh, we've already got a stone. Oh, we need 2, don't we? Gain a stone. So that's using that one. I might then use the 3 to go 1, 2, 3. That will gain us 1 wood. I mean, not particularly big gains there. But then we will use the final die to go 1, 2. And instead of doing the build a roof action, we're going to gain the machete. Ah, that's a 3. Ah, no, we need a 3 stars to build the machete. I forgot to mention there's also a star requirement. So basically we'd have to roll a 6 or spend some additional stars to build a machete. That was my whole plan. Let's just backtrack a second. I really want to build a machete. Okay, well we'll go 2 and we'll increase Wednesday by 1. So that didn't feel like the best of days, but at least I have a few resources now, I guess. So as I said, we are experiencing some negative weather there. And because we have no roof, we're going to lose 1 health. So we're going down to 2 health. Starting to feel a bit sketchy. No raid effect. On to day 5. We're rapidly running out of days. The raid tracker is getting increased by 1. 4, 4, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're losing 2 food. Well, we don't have any food to lose anyway. Maybe we should move. I'm just aware we've got to make sure we're close enough to the top of that mountain. Actually, we could use Wednesday. Let's give this a go. We're going to use a 4 to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to there. But we're not going to do the action. We're going to use Wednesday to gain 1 additional star. So we reset Wednesday. So we're getting 2 stars for rolling a 4. 1 up to a total of 3 stars. And with 3 stars, we can do a build action. It's going to take 1 hide, 1 wood and 2 stone. And we now have a machete. That increases our stars when moving by 1. which is ridiculous because the Pathfinder already allows us to do that. So we're going to find it quite easy to move around now, so I can relax a little bit on that front. And it gives us 1 extra power. So over on our character card, we'll increase the power level to 2, and then we can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and hunt. Or the other thing is we could heal. Now maybe we'll be all... because our health is getting so low now. I was quite looking forward to immediately hunting. But you know what, maybe we should use our grey to go backwards. Going backwards isn't going to allow us to heal. So maybe we should. Won't use the grey just in case we want that flexibility. We're gonna hunt. Oh, because hunting gives us food anyway, doesn't it? So that's all good. So hunting requires 3 power. We've got a base power of 2. Using a 4 is giving us 2 more, so we've got a total of 4 power, so we're able to do the hunt. That gives us 2 food and 2 hide. There's the 2 hide, there's the 2 food, and that's all good. Then we've got 1 more 4, and actually we could go straight into a move. Go for a move. We comfortably do the 2 stars that are necessary because we have a base of 2 stars on moves now anyway. Moving to there gives us a wood, and we're quite close to our target, and we have almost everything we need to build the flag. We need 4 hide and 3 wood. We've got 3 wood, we just need 2 more hide. So actually 1 more hunt. So long as I can stay alive and move up to the top of the mountain, we should be in a pretty good position. End of the day, consume a food. Then we're losing 1 health as a result of the weather, so we've got to do something about the health situation, or build some roof sections for our shelter. Otherwise we will be screwed tomorrow. And our dice numbers are a little bit higher now, so we've got some risk going on there going into tomorrow. And we've got to increase that to 5 because of the symbol on the day tracker there. Ooh, okay. Right, leave those, roll the dice. Ooh, they're very big numbers. In some ways that's good, but it means we've got more risk going on. Now, can we get to the healing point? We can't. Now, we could sacrifice our 1 food to move 1 further. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could hunt, which would get us some food. Let's give that a go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the build a roof section. Maybe we should just be building a roof. Should we be doing that? It would protect us. 2 roof sections. It would set us back quite a bit in terms of being ready to build the flag, but we've got 3 more days after today. I think we should probably do that. I'm going to build some roof bits. Well, that was using one of the 6s. The high numbers, I can't really utilise them to do anything too fabulous right now. Maybe we should get some stone. Yeah, let's do this. We're going to get some stone using one of these. Which one was that I just used? So we're getting 2 stone. Now our 6 would get us to there, but we've only got 1 food. Should I stock up on food? I was thinking of using my food to move back 1 to heal, because we would be healing 3... Oh, times the stars. So 3 plus 1, so we'd be healing 4. But then obviously we'd lose some health because we didn't have any food. So maybe we'll just stay there. 3 stars would get us 3 food, so at least we're quite food rich for a change. And then that's it. End of the day. End of the day, consume a food. As a result of the weather, we would lose 1 roof. So we can do that now, and if we didn't lose that roof, we would lose our health. So lucky that we had that in place. Then for the raid, we would either lose a fence or lose 2 food. We haven't got any fence to lose, so we're going to lose 2 food. And we've just about made it through again. Tomorrow's going to be pretty rough though. We've got a 5 on the weather and a 6 on the raid. So we're on to day 7, and we're actually increasing the weather die to 6. I feel like I might have missed an event again. I'm not very good at remembering those. 1, 2, 4. Moving the event on 1, which increases Wednesday by 1 for that event. So just some bonus time with our friend. I feel like hunting would be a good idea. We could move to there and get ourselves 1 wood. That was using the 2. Then, using the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we can go to the hunt. And how much power do we have? We have 2 because we rolled a 4 plus 2, so 4 in total. So enough to do the hunt, which is going to get us another 2 food and 2 hide. And then we'll use the 1 for something. I guess we'll move on. I might move Wednesday on 1, actually. And there we go. That means lose 2 roofs. Oh, hang on. We're going to backpedal here because we would lose health. Panicking. I think what I'm going to have to do is when we use the 1 to move to there, rather than moving Wednesday on, what we're going to have to do is spend a food to add 1 to our... Oh, right, it's not losing. It's not a food. You spend a food to increase the die value in terms of stars. But if you want to move the meeple, you have to spend a wood. So I'm going to spend a wood to move to there. Now, ordinarily, that wouldn't allow us to gain any health. But because we've got a bed, we get 1 additional star, which means we're gaining 1 health, which might be enough just to keep us alive. So the weather, bad weather. 5 or 6 is the worst weather. We would have to lose 2 of our roof elements. Now we've only got 1, which means we lose 1 roof and 1 health. So you see I would have died then had I have not done that last little bit of jiggery pokery. Then for the raid, we either lose fence, which we don't have, or 2 food. So we're going to lose 2 food, and we're just about surviving on into the next day, day 8. So our penultimate day, we've got to increase both the weather and the raid die by 1 each, and then we'll carry on. So 1, a 4 and a 6, a nice spread there. That'll give me some options. So we need some wood, we need some hide, and we need to move. Moving is probably the easiest bit, but moving into the next area increases the raid risk because we'll be moving to hunting wild boar, which means you lose health and food. I don't have a lot. In fact, I would say gaining some health should be something I'm thinking about doing, but I do want to move. I definitely want to move, which is quite tricky. Okay, I think I know what's going on here. We're going to use the 1 to gain some food. It would have been nice to do this the other way round, but that's the way it goes. Because actually that's not getting us any food, is it? So we'll move on Wednesday instead of that. Then the 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, moving to hunt. Hunting gets us 2 food and 2 hide, so we now have enough hide, but we still have very, very low health, disastrously so. Now the problem here is we're having bad weather tonight, and it's going to kill us. That's the problem. The problem is death. So I'm just trying to work out a way that I can mitigate this. So it might be that we have to build some roof stuff. So rather than gaining the hide and the food, see, we're running out of wood is the problem. So low on wood. But we've got to try and live. So we'll use the wood to move the meeple onto there, and then a wood and a hide, oh dear, to build some roof sections. So at least we're not going to die. But the problem is we are now so far away from being able to build the flag. But what good is a flag if you're dead? 1, 2, 3, 4. So food, wood or stone. Obviously we're going to go for wood because we need that. Hopefully we are all right here. Okay, so bad weather. 2 roof bits taken out, but no health taken off. And the raid is fine. No bad raid happening. But that was the penultimate day, and we're 2 spaces away from the top of the mountain. So I don't think it's going to happen. Well, it can't, can it? There's no way I can make that happen. Okay, so we're going to go on to the final day. We've got to increase that to 5. Here we go. 1, 2, 6. I don't think it's going to happen, folks. It ain't going to happen. Now we could move backwards 1 using our 1, we could spend our last food to increase the amount of stars gained by that by 1. So we now have 1 star, because a 1 normally gives you no stars. But then we're also a Pathfinder and we have a machete. So we have a total of 3 stars. And that's enough to move into the next section. That's going to get us some stone. We've got lots of stone. It's a shame we can't trade that for the stuff that we need. So we're now in the next hunting section. So if I go backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, using the 6, but then spend, there's no point. Well, no, hang on, if I spend 1 wood, I can move the meeple over there. We have 3 stars, so that gains us 3 wood, which is enough wood to build the flag, but we need 2 more hide. We only have 1 more action. Yeah, I guess if we did 1, 2, then sacrificed a wood to move back to there, we have 1 power. Yeah, but we're not going to be able to hunt, so there's no point in doing that. Okay, I think I'm going to have to accept here that I'm not going to be able to win. Yeah, it isn't happening, folks. I can't make it happen. We were just not quite close enough. 1 space away from the top of the mountain, 2 hides away from the flag. So 1 more day. If I had 1 more day, I would be able to do it. So day 10, I think the challenge would have been completed. Just. But there you go. You can see that it's quite a tight game. At least this quest, that is the case. And I'm assuming it is the same on subsequent quests. It's pretty challenging. But it's a nice little game. It's a theme that I enjoy. One that's worth checking out if you like the desert island survivalist subgenre. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this one, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.